Welcome to Soi Stories. We have 3 very different and interesting stories for you today. There's some singing, a little of car history, and a unique restoration of a beloved historic building. It is all brought to you by JDS Creative Academy's video production job training program participants. First up, we have Matt Steelbinder, who will take you on a musical journey.
I'm here with some fun information to share with you about a musical style called a cappella. I'm a singer, and it's my favorite style to work with, and I'm excited to share it with you. Let's get rolling. Have you seen the Pitch Perfect movies? The first one was a smash hit in 2012. It featured women a cappella style, which means singing with no instrumental backing. A cappella is not as easy as it looks and sounds. It involves music, memorizations. You have to think about the tones and beats while singing. A cappella is very old. The word is Italian, which is surprising, isn't it? It means in the modern of the church. Some of the earliest a cappella on record are the Gregorian chant, written in the 9th and 10th century. Let's fast forward a couple thousand years to America. In the 1920s and 30s, people loved an a cappella style called barbershop quartet. Their group were men singing in a special 4-part harmony. The barbershop quartet ended, but the group, the Flying Pickets, brought a cappella style back in 1984 with their hit Only You, where they used their vocals like musical instruments. The 2000s came along and more people fell in love with a cappella thanks to the cultural phenomenon pentatonics. The unique, funny style using beatboxing to help them win NBC The Sing Off in 2011. But it was YouTube that turned them into global stars. The rest, as they say, is history. A cappella is a musical style that's here to stay for a long time. Thank you for coming along with me on this musical journey. Speaking of journeys, let's take a trip to the past. Here's Jacob Wawala with the history of the electric cars.
Since the dawn of the automobile in the late 19th century, there was a fierce competition brewing between gas versus electric to see which one had more advantage. Let's take a look at this fascinating history. While electric cars are widely regarded as a modern-day vehicle, the technology goes back longer than you would have ever thought.
15,000 of those early EVs were in New York City, where Thomas Edison had built the very first power station, and that supplied juice to a network of EV charging stations like this one.
In 1888, Andreas Flocken created the world's first true 4-wheeled electric production car, the Flocken Electrowagen. Amazingly, this open 4-wheeled carriage was primarily constructed out of wood. A few years later, William Morrison introduced the Morrison electric car that is often cited as the first successful electric vehicle in the US. But it had limited range on a single charge, and electricity was not yet widely available to the public, which made recharging difficult. In 1907, the Anderson Carriage Company introduced the Detroit electric car. It gained popularity because, unlike gas cars of its time, it did not require a hand crank to start, which could be very dangerous. Engine kicked back while hand cranking caused many broken arms, also known as Ford fractures. People were also getting run over when cars lurched forward while hand cranking.
Cranking a combustion engine could break bones if you weren't careful. And if you were wearing flowy clothing, as was popular at the time, it could get caught and even be deadly.
Gradually, gasoline cars won the public's hearts thanks to technology. Charles F. Kettering invented an electric starter, which was introduced on the 1912 Cadillac. This eliminated the need for a hand crank. Additionally, Ford's mass production techniques made gas cars more affordable than electric. Electric cars would not become popular again until the early 1990s, when development was motivated by strict air quality regulations. Then, Tesla shook up the industry by releasing its first car model, the Roadster. It was the first highway-legal EV with a long range, proving that they could be desirable sports cars, not glorified golf carts. Electric vehicles have come a long way from wood frames, and it'll be interesting to see how they continue to evolve in the future. While there are still more gas to electric cars on the roads, EVs make up 10% of all new car sales. So next time you need a new car, maybe think about electric.
For my SOI stories, I wanted to examine how a famous historical landmark was revived through modern and traditional technology. In 2019, the Notre Dame Cathedral suffered significant damage due to a devastating fire. But with modern technology and traditional preservation techniques, construction crews were able to resurrect this 863-year-old architectural wonder over the next 5.5 years. One essential piece of this operation were drones. They provided firefighters with an aerial view to determine the extent of the fire damage and safely guide them to any lingering flames. Other digital modeling and laser scanning tools worked in tandem to create precise 3D models of the structure. Throughout the reconstruction, modern technology definitely came in handy, as high-efficiency vacuums equipped with filters and lasers were also used to extensively clean the structural remains. The vacuums reportedly helped remove years of dirt and grime. French carpenters also relied on traditional techniques and medieval carpentry hand tools like axes and chisels. They carved support beams for the spire of the building, retaining its original roof called the forest. A total 1,000-century-old oak trees were used during the reconstruction. The work was very extensive. They restored 14 chandeliers, century-old glass-stained windows, and found some surprises. 13th-century-old painted sculptures were uncovered, and 2 buried human sarcophagi. This major restoration is just one example of how preservation helped restore this architectural wonder. Now with modern technology, the possibilities are endless. I hope you enjoyed my narration of this fascinating story. What I found interesting was how they were able to find these undiscovered treasures with the help of modern technology. Now here's Savannah.
Thank you, Jonathan, Jacob, and Matt. Thanks for joining us today. What stories will we tell next? Press the subscribe button so you will know when SOI Stories returns. Until then, SOI out.